Greetings, everyone. It's Edward with the San Antonio Public Library again with the Esports panel discussion, talking about esports and leagues. And as always, I have Cassie Garza with me. How are you doing today, Cassie?
Very good. Thank you, Edward.
And we have quite a few panelists today. Let's start off with Chris. Chris, please introduce yourself.
Hey guys, Chris Sines here, store manager at Play Live Nation and also owner of an esports org called Texas Gaming Empire.
Sam?
Yeah, hi. I'm Sam Elizondo, co-owner of LFG Cyber Cafe, future proponent for gaming and esports in San Antonio, and founder of the Esports and Education Foundation.
James?
Hi, my name is James Devno. I'm the 2020-2021 Extra Life Guild President for the San Antonio chapter.
And Rolando?
Sorry, my name is Rolando Gonzalez. I'm with the Children's Hospital of San Antonio, and I support the Extra Life Guild.
And last but not least, Philip.
Hi, everybody. I'm Philip Torres. I'm the owner here at Shenanigans Gaming Esports Venue.
How are y'all doing today?
Doing great.
Awesome,
Great.
awesome.
Doing
So
good.
today's topic is about esports leagues and venues. And each of y'all have a very unique aspect to your venue, very unique program. So I want y'all to share that with the public and just give us the ins and out of what you offer and what the future holds for y'all. And I think I'd like to start off with Sam, since you're right there on my screen. Sam, tell us about your programs.
LFG Cyber Cafe realistically is just like a modern day arcade. So instead of arcade cabinets, we have a bunch of high performance gaming PCs, virtual reality machines, some consoles as well. So it's a great communal place for gamers to meet other gamers and participate in tournaments and things like that. I'm also the founder of the Esports and Education Foundation. So we started a local nonprofit geared towards utilizing esports as a conduit for career paths and higher education opportunities. So that's just, again, a vessel to kind of explore esports as something other than entertainment. And then, we also work in the military space. So I've built out a LAN center similar to my own in the house of VFW Post 8541 as a marketing tool and really an opportunity to reach out to younger veterans and kind of bring them into the fold of the VFW so that they can continue their work to support our veterans after their service.
Great. How does that work out? How is the veteran and the esports video game, and is that working out pretty well for you?
I think it's working out pretty well for them. My job is really just to set everything up. But, younger veterans, the VFW organization was really founded during World War II. So
right.
There's an entire lineage of difference between who founded it and who now is exiting their military service. So I think for them, it's a very natural transition in terms of you being utilized as a therapy tool or a marketing arm, of course, because so many of our soldiers are, gamers themselves.
True.
More often than not, Bill Smith, the commander, it didn't matter, according to him, how far out into the desert or wherever he was operating, there were people playing video games as a decompression tool and a way to relax in a very high tense environment. So I think it's worked out incredibly well. COVID has kind of, stifled it a little bit, but now everybody's able to return to the VFW after their closure and they're participating. So they're having a great time.
It's good to hear. That's good to hear. James, can you tell us about your Extra Life program?
Yeah, so it actually is a nonprofit organization that supports the Children's Miracle Network hospitals. And in the process, basically, it's just like a Relay for Life or like a cancer walk. You go ahead and set up a foundation, a splash page that people, friends and family donate while you game. And all that money goes as unrestricted funds to the hospital of your choice.
Okay. So how do you get involved in that? Is there any kind of sign up? Is there any special rules or regulations you need to be involved in this program?
Actually, there's no rules or regulations. You can do it from the activity of your home, which is amazing, or you can do it with a group of friends. There is a link that you can go to, Extra Life, and they can go ahead and set you up with a page, and we'll go ahead and put the link in our contact information.
Okay.
And from there, you can go ahead and sign up for a free donation page. If you have time to do it, you go ahead and do it. We have a national game day. It's going to be happening on November, at the very beginning of November, and that's going to be a 24-hour gaming event where most of the people actually go ahead and fundraise, and even some of the big wigs such as Rooster Teeth and our local rack space here in San Antonio, they come out for the event, and what they do is amazing. You can stream. You don't even have to do 24 hours if it's not feasible for you. You can go ahead and make it to where you can break that up over the course of the entire year. The whole point is that we are having fun, saving kids' lives, and contributing to the hospital with unrestricted funds while gaming. And we've answered the age-old thing: you'll never be able to go ahead and make money from this.
That's right. That's right. Rolando, would you like to add to that?
He honestly took all my talking points. I couldn't have said it any better. Extra Life is a really important fundraising program to us at the hospital. It empowers the gaming community, which typically not many people consider as fundraisers or people who go out and raise money, but they're everyday regular people who care a lot about the same issues, who care a lot about saving kids' lives, and all that money, it stays local and it helps heal kids. So it's a very important program to us, and there's a big promise for it in the future. So can't wait to see it continue to evolve.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Philip, how about yourself? Tell us about Shenanigans.
So here at Shenanigans Gaming, we're also a LAN center similar to Sam's. We have 24 gaming PCs and we have 60 seats for tabletop gaming. We focus on running events, tournaments, and things of that nature regarding or involving esports and also tabletop gaming.
Cool, cool. And last but not least, Chris, the Play Live Nation.
Yes, sir. So Play Live Nation Premium Gaming Lounge. We got video games, console, and PC. We got about 20 Xbox stations. We got a few Nintendo Switch stations and 16 PC stations. We do different events, tournaments, all-nighters. We host birthday parties, really awesome birthday parties. Yeah, and so we have different gaming, card games like Magic and stuff, tabletop like D&D. So really just hope to see everybody out there.
Okay.
And then also on the Texas Gaming Empire side, we just, I've actually kind of had conversations with Sam and Philip, trying to get all three venues involved to maybe try and create some community, bigger reaching community tournaments and events and stuff to bring to San Antonio. So super excited about that as well.
It's great. It's great. So what exactly does an esports league do? What does that consist of? I know we have esports teams, we have esports leagues. Can you give us the breakdown, explain to our viewers the difference between esports team, league, and so on?
Yeah, so a team will compete in a league, and a league is structured, it's going to kind of be like your NFL or your NBA, where you have an organization that just kind of oversees everything and makes sure everything's on a level playing field, rules are in place and stuff. And then the teams, depending on how well structured it is, obviously, ideally you want like a coach, and then you want your players, and the coach kind of mentors the players. A really good example would be like the college level here at A&M. The coaches, you got Coach Travis Yang and Coach Caitlin Tenney at day, and then the students would be the players that would compete and stuff. And then, there's even an industry around that where you get like graphic artists that create the graphics for it. You get the marketers that'll put it out in social media and stuff like that. So there really is a whole industry to be built around esports.
Okay. Okay. Chris, Sam, would like to add to that?
About answering that question?
Yes, sir.
I think you pretty much nailed it. Realistically, you have a team that participates in the league. League is over a set amount of time with a set rule set. So it functions on just a longer span than like a one-day tournament where, you have your team show up for that day and then somebody's walking home as a winner. But I think he answered pretty much everything you could have about that.
Okay. Okay. So have y'all been involved with many tournaments since COVID's happened since March? I know it's pretty hard. We had to do everything virtually, but what's the aspect of doing that now since the venue and the climate has changed?
LFG is pretty much, we stopped physical events because there was a lot of uncertainty surrounding COVID, and we in no way really wanted to put anybody at risk until, the nation ourselves had a better understanding of how to manage it and what really it was, because there was a lot of questions to be asked. I know that San Antonio as a whole really did shift to focusing online and online play, to the stifled screams of Super Smash Bros. Players who don't have the net code that they really need to do that. But that's kind of, the cool part about esports is you can still absolutely find a way to participate even in, the thick of a pandemic.
Very, very true. Very true. And Philip, how about you? Have you had many tournaments virtually?
Virtually, yes. So again, like Sam said, the Smash community is probably one of our biggest communities here in town. We had already had in place plans for a team league for them. Unfortunately, like Sam said, COVID kind of slowed everything down. We were able to move their team league online which has been working great. We're actually in the tail end of their first season of the league. We should be hosting their finals in the next couple of weeks. And yeah, we've moved it online. Like Sam's venue, we also stopped all of our physical play, tournament play here at the venue. And as with Smash being our biggest community, we felt comfortable moving forward, moving their events online, which again have been going pretty well. We had 70 signups for the team league. It's a completely free league that we run here in the venue, and it's been going great.
That's good to hear that COVID has not stopped gamers from playing, even though the face-to-face is a lot more difficult now. So Chris, I have a question for you. I know you're very involved in tournaments. How about you? Have you had any tournaments recently that are virtual?
When COVID first hit and the store closed down, I did start trying to do a lot of virtual tournaments. But there's a lot of competition in that area. You got like your gamer saloon, your players lounge and stuff like that. So it's a very hard market to get into. And then you're just one person, you know, trying to do it all. And I found that it was kind of taking longer to just try and get the players to commit to the match than the tournament would even take. And I kind of more specialize in in-person stuff. But I mean, yeah, we definitely ran some online tournament stuff, and COVID really did hurt things. Things are starting to look good with COVID. I guess there's some more cases coming up, but hopefully we are able to resist that second wave and get back to the in-person. I love the in-person.
Yeah, that's true. It's nothing like seeing despair in somebody's face when you're beating
Yes, sir.
them.
One thing it did give an opportunity to is do a lot of the back end stuff. Because you know, like I've usually been like a 2-month planner trying to get things. I mean, you kind of have long-term plans, but you're so focused on everything that you've got going coming up. And like now I've really been able to like think about like much bigger plans and, you know, kind of setting goals and milestones to be able to achieve those. So, you know, although we haven't been able to focus on the in-person stuff, it has helped on the back end to really build a strong foundation to grow once, you know, we are able to get back to where we want to be.
It's great. It's good to hear because hopefully everyone will be able to prosper once we are able to get back face to face. James, I have a question for you. With the tournament, the 24-hour, can you give us more information about, is it particular games, the donation has to be a certain amount? What's the parameters concerning that?
Sure. So the donation event is very much like any other type of donation. You can go ahead and do it, set it how you want. I've had, ironically enough, I even had a gentleman that it was in Pennsylvania. He didn't even play video games. He fished for 24 hours. So he was content with doing that. But he raised $2,000 doing that.
Oh, wow.
So all it is basically, you know, you can go ahead and set how you want. You can go ahead and people can donate as much as they want, however frequently they want. One of the things that we have some people do to go ahead and entice that, one of my guilds that I was part of in Baltimore, he had a raffle for whoever donated the most money at the end of the actual 24 hours, got to determine the actual hair color that he got to dye his hair at the end of the event. And then he had to, so the $2,000 mark, someone donated $2,000 to his actual page. So that way he had to donate and go with a rainbow color. Very, very pristine, looked gorgeous after he was done. We've had people, when they hit milestones, they'll do a pie in the face, or one of our buddies, they did the hot challenge. So as they went through the milestones of $100, $250, $500, they decided to go ahead and increase that to the point to where they were, I think they were, the Air Force team that did it was at about $5,000, and they were each eating the Trinidad scorpions, which is the hottest pepper in the world right now at over 60, I think it's over 35 million Scovilles.
No thanks.
So yeah, so they've done those kind of things, but any little bit, and Rolando can go ahead and will probably agree with me, any little bit of donation, whether it be 5, 10, even just 50 cents or $1, all of that actually is very important because it's different than most other nonprofits where only a percentage goes to the hospital. The full amount that's raised for the Children's Miracle Network hospital you choose goes to the hospital. So they will get 100%. And again, I keep saying the reiteration of unrestricted. That means that they can use that money for anything they need for the kids.
That's great. That's great. That's great. So Sam, can you tell us more about the veterans program you have?
Yeah, well, I don't want to take claim for it. Really, the commander of VFW Post 8541, Bill Smith, his son was a customer of mine. At one point in time, came into the store and had some pretty poignant questions about gaming and esports and why I got involved with it and how it's kind of functioned in my life. And after kind of sharing my history, we came across this intersection, and that was that his soldiers and the people that he has met in his military career, often utilize gaming and esports as a form of therapy, maybe meditation, or at least decompression at a very base level. And it occurred to him that, younger veterans aren't necessarily being spoken to by VFWs, by a lot of the veteran organizations. They're almost like the wayward son. And he's essentially set out on that mission to fix that. So we came up with a plan to realistically retrofit a 60, 70-year-old building and refurbish it and build out a LAN center, very similar to what you would find at LFG Cyber Cafe. And the hopes is, that a younger generation now has a utility under that roof where they have something that's familiar to them, some high performance gaming equipment, a nice calm atmosphere, no smoking, so it doesn't smell like smoke. It's really, the building has kind of been split. Bill was adamant on ensuring that the veterans that had been a part of that post for a very long time maintained the portion that they needed, and that was the cantina and the social place for them. But he also wanted to, again, offer an olive branch for younger vets to come see what the VFW is all about, because they really do serve veterans better than almost any organization out there as it stands. I mean, they're the biggest advocates in Washington. They, travel up there every year to advocate for veteran rights and veteran, programs like the GI Bill, medical, the whole 9 yards. And really the longer hope is that he can do something to kind of reel these guys in and start turning the curve on social suicide. To bring them around people that understand, what they've experienced, and speak to them on a personal level in hopes that they can find help if that's what's needed, right? So it's just in its infancy. We built it literally during COVID, since the place was closed down. I had a great opportunity to go in and build out some full tilt infrastructure. So they have a brand new network. So if you want to be a part of that, obviously it is a private club. So you would have to essentially sign up for that. I think it's $40 a year. There's also like a life term that a lot of the veterans tend to do, which is based on your age. So you pay anywhere from like $250 to $400 based on how old you are. And that essentially makes you a member of that post indefinitely, which would give you access to all of that stuff. The hope is, now that he has kind of some national coverage from the VFW magazine, military.com, that, well, we're already getting the request, but other veterans and VFWs are requesting more information on how they can do this too, so that we can kind of start bridging the gap for veterans, giving them their own leagues, their own resources, and kind of scattering this across at least Texas for now, and of course, hopefully nationally.
That sounds great. So are y'all having consoles, PCs? What kind of equipment are you going to put in there for the veterans?
It's consoles and PCs. So right now, due to the size of the room, the idea was to have 12 high performance gaming PCs and 6 consoles. The space, with the way that the state has requested bars, which it is considered a bar, unfortunately, by tax code. They're at a stifled occupancy. So we have 6 high performance gaming rigs in there and 4 consoles spread around the room. And the hopes, of course, that as this thing wanes, we can put more PCs and things in there.
Okay. So the follow-up question would be, can you explain to us about the education foundation you're a part of?
Yeah, so, it came to my attention that there really wasn't a lot of resources here in the city of San Antonio for adolescent gamers. So the reason we even built LFG really was I found my best friend playing video games at a place called Extreme Gaming Cyber Cafe, which closed down probably about 10 years ago. Our other business partner was the original owner, and we used to work for him. So we kind of, weren't necessarily traditional athletes or traditional academics. We were somewhere in between. And gaming really does, call to someone that's right in the middle. We found that a lot of people share the same interests as us that may not fit inside of those two categories. So being that there's not many resources, we wanted to bring something to the community, specifically the kids, as a way to explore gaming and esports, not necessarily just for the competitive portion, but as a career path, as a teaching tool, as a way to learn trade skills and network in our city. Being cybersecurity or being a cyber city, You know, cybersecurity is huge in San Antonio. We have one of the best cybersecurity programs out of UTSA. We have Port San Antonio doing robotics and engineering, housing all of Lackland cybersecurity. So there's a great need for people with skill sets that align with, you know, playing video games well. And we wanted to bridge that gap for them. So we started the Esports and Education Foundation as a way to kind of shake hands with local businesses, bring scholarships to students, some for competitive, some for creative, design, the whole 9 yards. And we're actually going to be hosting our first event come January. It's a collegiate invitational. There's going to be 7 colleges coming to San Antonio. It's actually housed at that VFW. Since I built the infrastructure, I know it's all there. And it's going to be awesome. We've secured $2,000 in prize pools for scholarships. And I think it's going to be a total of 35 entrants.
Great, great. Have you ever worked with the local colleges? Which colleges do you plan on attending this event?
So far we have Texas A&M San Antonio, UTSA, UT Austin, the University of Houston, Trinity, University of Incarnate Word, and then Schreiner University have all accepted and should be attending, of course, barring that there is no worsening of the COVID situation or outbreak.
That sounds wonderful. That's excellent. Cassie, you have a follow-up question.
I do have a question. I have a question for Philip and Chris, and I also have a question for Rolando and James. So first, Philip, you are currently sitting in Shenanigans Gaming, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
It looks, oh my gosh, those chairs look really comfy. Could you talk about some of the equipment and things that you have available for customers and what you're offering now for your patrons?
Yeah, for sure. So these chairs and the headset and some other peripherals are all provided by one of our sponsors in Cougar Gaming. They provided us the chairs, the headsets, our mouse and keyboard sets, our PC cases, and our power supplies. Really comfy chairs. I think these run at retail at $199. They're really hard to find right now, though, because of the whole COVID situation. Everybody needs a comfy chair. We also have 24 high-end gaming PCs. We have PCs that are running on a AMD 3600X CPU and RTX 2070 GPUs. So they're really great gaming PCs. Right now, during the COVID situation, we're spacing everybody out, social distancing. We are requiring that everybody keeps a space in between themselves, unless you're coming in with a family unit. And yeah, that's about it. We're keeping our regular pricing. We do $5 an hour. We have day passes at $15 for the day, and we have month passes that start at $40 per month.
And Chris, would you like to explain what you're offering at your venue?
Sure, yeah. Gaming experience, similar to Sam and Philip over there at LFG and Shenanigans. You know, we pretty much, there's game time, there's play all day passes, there's monthly memberships that you can be a part of. Yeah, and I mean, you know, we've got so like our PCs, the TVs are on the walls, and we've got like single person recliners. They're already pretty spaced out. Similar to Philip, you know, if you're a family unit, you can sit together, but you know, people who don't come in together, you try and separate them by a seat or two. You know, they recline, so it's super comfortable. People get to lounge back. We offer concessions as well, chips, drinks, chocolate. Yeah, we have a good time. We have a whole bunch of TVs across the top too. So Saturdays and Sundays, all the dads get to catch their football games. Other times we just have you know, popular streamers on there, or sometimes, you know, I'll get notifications that a local Twitch streamer that I'm following is on. So like Ansley, sometimes if I see her come on, you know, I'll put her up. And then just other gamers and stuff that you know, I'm following, I'll put them on too to help support local.
Awesome, thank you. James, Ansley, she's been in our previous discussions, and one of the things she did mention was that Extra Life Gaming was also responsible for a coloring book fundraiser. Was that correct?
Yes.
Awesome,
Yes.
because I did share that information with the team group I currently work with, and a lot of them were really excited to have that opportunity to share some of their line art for the coloring book. Could you explain that project and kind of where it's at right now, and then
Oh yeah.
anything else you would like to add about that?
Yeah, so one of the things that that was discussion was typically with Extra Life, we do a lot of our recruitment via going to different conventions. And unfortunately, COVID did a really bad job about allowing us to recruit our typical way. So what we decided to do is we wanted to go ahead and showcase the artwork, the digital artwork and the gaming community here in San Antonio, but also be able to put the branding out there of Extra Life at the hospital, and also, and like Rolando's going to say a little bit later, to use as a fundraiser for us too, to help raise funds for the hospital. So what we did is we came to the decision we're going to go ahead and do a coloring book, and we created a Google form and we just blasted it out to all of, it was trending on the San Antonio Reddit, and it was amazing. We had over 30 different submissions from people that did either graphic design, video game artwork design, and even some comic book artists that were local to San Antonio but have actually drawn at the San Diego Comic Con, you know, and level and stuff like that. So they submitted their artwork, and within the actual submission, they had to answer a couple quick questions about like, what's your favorite games? You know, I wanted to go ahead and make sure we highlight them as people, because we are a gaming charity. So we want to highlight the people that are contributing to this. So we have one that she is a local artist that does video games, but she's also an instructor at Northwest Vista for the game design program. So she went ahead and submitted a bunch of artwork and, you know, what got her into gaming, what she likes, what she does. We want to make sure we put the face to the actual piece of artwork. And it's been such a great idea that what we did is we are the only state that has more than one Extra Life guild in one of the few states. The other one is California, and I think another one is Tennessee. We have 4 different guilds in Texas. So we started a Texas coalition, and now the Texas coalition is going to go ahead, and they like the idea. And once they see what the product is like, we want to now start incorporating it to where Austin's going to be doing their own, Dallas will be doing their own, Houston will be doing their own. And then every quarter, we're going to have a new coloring book from San Antonio, Austin, Dallas, Houston, and then we can use that, which Rolando can speak to a little bit about, as a fundraiser for our actual Extra Life hospital.
Thank you. And Rolando, would you like to add to that? From my understanding, Extra Life would also take consoles and video games to inside the libraries, inside the hospital, so that children could play. Due to COVID, is that happening? Or are you adapting to that? What's going on?
Yeah, so I'll kind of just add real quick on James, and then I'll touch on that question. So they did an amazing job on the coloring book. I really kind of put that challenge on the guild to kind of turn it into a fundraiser. And so there was all this hard work. We want to showcase that. So, and James kind of touched on this earlier, what some people do for their fundraisers for Extra Life is, for like a $5 donation, I'll make you a handmade bracelet, or for a $10, $20 donation, we'll give you a coloring book. And so we're showing off all the amazing work of the gaming community, and also kind of making money for the children at our hospital. And so really great initiative on their part for engaging our supporters, and also kind of turning it into a really good fundraiser for the kids. Good question on what our actual patients are doing right now. COVID has been really hard on them. Before, we would have daily activities in our Child Life Center where kids could come to and do arts and crafts, play video games. It had a huge stop these past 6 months. Things are getting a little bit better, but during those 6 months, we were not moving our consoles around. And we do have some of our consoles on portable like devices that we can move. Like, think of the old school like TV on a VCR kind of thing that we would cart around. But in the last 6 months, we weren't moving those around just to kind of contain the virus and people sharing things. You just don't want to cross-contaminate, and the kids in our hospital have different ailments, and we just didn't want to take any risks. literally this past week, I got an email saying we're gonna start scheduling activities hopefully by the end of the month. And so I know infection rate has dropped a lot in San Antonio. There is talk of another surge coming, so you just never know. You take it one day at a time and hope for the best. But we're still trying to keep those kids active, keep their mind off the medicine and the treatments that they're going through, and try to make it as fun and interactive as a normal childhood that anyone else could experience. So.
Well, thank you for continuing that and, you know, adapting to a lot of this really fast-paced, changing conditions. I know we have to pivot almost immediately sometimes with a lot of the planning that we're doing.
Thank you, Cassie. Sam, please forgive me. I did not ask you about the LFG Cyber Cafe. You spoke about everything except for your cafe. Please tell us about it.
Yeah, well, you know, in the grand scheme of things, I don't know that it's all that different from what Chris and Philip have to offer. We have 32 high-performance gaming PCs, 2 virtual reality stations, and we've kind of scaled back our consoles. I believe we only have 4, 2 Xboxes and 2 PlayStations, so we're definitely not too much of a console lounge. But we do provide licenses to video games, which is a little unique. So we actually have gaming libraries that are available for people that come into our store to try it out for the first time. So if you don't own a game and you're interested in trying it, or maybe you want to get somebody else into it and they don't want to buy it outright, it's a great opportunity to bring them in and let them try something, you know, like Call of Duty or Overwatch. You know, you typically have to buy into that, and we can provide that license to them while they're there. So there is that as well. Social distancing is enforced. We have all of our stations separated by at least 6 feet. So we've done some damage. It looks like a FEMA tent in our store. We've put up screens and all sorts of stuff to make sure that people felt safe. They may not feel like they're at home anymore, but they're definitely as safe as you could possibly be. Our stations are cleaned after every use. So we do encourage people to give us a try.
I kind of wanted to touch on something else you had mentioned before about, I think we had took a break real quick, but it was about what community and what we kind of expect from the community, or not necessarily expect, but, you know, would really appreciate and stuff like that, or how they can get involved and stuff. And I think a lot of it is as organizers, we can only do so much, right? Like we can kind of organize the event, put it together, we can do the outreach, but it's really up to the community to bring the community together to come to these events. And, you know, I find like the community engagement is what's really important to driving these things. One of the things that makes Smash so popular is the community stays active and engaged in group pages and discussions and stuff, and they're very communicative. Like the Smash group page will have tons of posts throughout the day. And so, you know, I've got different groups for like sports games and stuff, but, you know, leading up to a tournament, because I used to do like a monthly sports thing, I would notice like the quieter that the group was that month, the fewer people showed up to the tournament. The more active and engaged people were, the more they'll show up. So, you know, to be a part of the community, you have to be a part of the community and really engage. And all we can do is really just structure it and encourage you, but it's up to the individual to actually be in that.
Very true, very true. So you have to actually have a strong social media presence and just get that word out there to make sure that the community knows this term is coming up. If you're interested, just let us know. If you have any questions, you know, just reach out to us. We'll try to make it as easy as possible to just get out there and experience. You don't have to be a competitor, you can be a spectator, but just get involved.
Yeah. It's more about the building the friendships and building the community and learning off one another and just being a part of one another's lives to an extent, you know what I mean? And just really sharing those insights with one another that y'all can grow and get better at the game and meet more new people and expand on that.
Cool. And that's pretty much the goal, to make sure that everybody has a chance to participate and be a competitor in it, because it is a great stress reliever. As Sam said, you have a time to decompress and it's fun. You get to learn new things, share new things with different people. It's just a good way to get out, have some good, clean fun, as long as you don't trash talk too much.
You play Call of Duty, right?
Well, you know, Call of Duty's.
I'm just saying.
That's a whole.
You're probably good at trash talking.
That's a whole panel discussion. That's a whole.
Toxicism.
Yeah, that's. We had a topic on that. I can't discuss that. It's been. We signed an NDA.
Sure. I'm not surprised.
But you know, that's one aspect of. I love video games. Play video games for years. And one thing I love about video games, one thing I hate about video games, is trash talking, because it's one thing to like. You always want to nudge somebody to make them be a little better, There's the other thing, just to completely just put a person down. And I think that's the comparison of that. And we just need to get away from that. Trash talking is good. It gives you like a competitive nature, and you try to throw your opponent off of their game. So that's still part of it. But when you're just downright nasty, that's unnecessary. That's how I feel about that. But Call of Duty just brings out the worst in everybody, I think. So that's a completely different topic.
Not wrong. You're not wrong.
But I'd like to thank all of you. This has been a wonderful discussion. Y'all have excellent, strong programs that we hope the community get behind you and support. The BFW program, the Extra Life program, your cafes. We need to get out there and start, COVID aside, we have to get back to normal. Just had to start getting back to I don't even know what the word is now. Just have to get out there and experience things. We have to be safe. Don't get me wrong.
New normal.
But we have to support each other and get out and play video games is the best way to do it. Best way to do it. In closing, is there anything like that to add before we close out?
I think I did want to kind of add some information, more kind of leaning towards the Esports League topic. So my journey through esports was through being a competitive player. So I kind of have a little bit of insight into leagues and the competitive side of things. The information that is needed to be a competitive player is really hard to find. And I don't know if it's because the publishers make it hard to find or the bigger tournament organizers make it hard to find, but the information is just hard to find. How do I get involved in being a competitive professional player? And that's where the building of a community comes into play. So just creating the community, starting everybody young, sharing all of that information, teaching kids about being a competitive and professional player, because there are a lot of professional gamers that do join these organizations and they end up getting burned really bad, just with their contracts or just without getting paid at all. So just sharing a lot of this information is very important. And I think that's what I wanted to add. I think we're all trying to get everybody to that point. And like I said, I think what Sam is doing is great. What Chris is doing with TGE is really great. Just getting everybody involved in the leagues early on in their careers. And even if you're not a super competitive player, even if you're just coming in, playing casually, getting some games in, it's all about having fun in the end.
The overall gist of it is that we need to support the ecosystem. So we're going to wrap up. We're going to go ahead and have our slides, and please just give us the information, the contact information, and a little bit snippet about everything else you do, your programs, and how to get into contact with you.
Yeah, so Chris Sines, Texas Gaming Empire, Play Live Nation. All the contact info is there. Honestly, just shoot me a text. Or you can go to our website, texasgamingempire.com. It's got links to all the social media and stuff, or I'll feel free to text you back.
Yeah, so there's my email. Again, Sam Elizondo, co-owner LFG, started the EIEF and working in the VFW. You're welcome to follow the social media of our LAN center at LFG Cyber Cafe across all platforms. That's where we're going to do our formal announcement of the EIEF. We're just waiting for our branding to be finalized. The website's up. We have our .org. It just hasn't been fleshed out officially. And the event will be announced as well, probably by the end of the year. So that's assuming that the IRS will get through our actual federal tax exemption. I don't know if anybody's filed for anything lately, but it's taking pretty good while, which is fine. Hey, we're patient people, but I kind of need that to write people some receipts. But yeah, Twitter at I'm American Salt, and that's pretty much it.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, all I can say is, again, November 7th at our National Game Day. If you want to join, please go ahead and sign up. We would really love, again, anything that's raised goes to the kids. If you want to get involved with the guild, please reach out to us too. Right now, we usually do monthly meetings. Because of COVID, we've been doing it over Discord. But in the past, we would go meet up at restaurants or go meet up at different places. I'd like to go ahead once COVID gets a little bit of control, start hosting events at y'all's actual gaming facilities. And even potentially looking at, it could be a good avenue to host the National Game Day event too for the 24 hours. So we're really excited. Again, if you have any questions, reach out to the email, reach out to our website. We have a Discord as well that'll be put in here. or hit us up on Facebook. We actively, and we have a Twitter. So
I'm Philip Torres. I am the owner at Shenanigans Gaming and Esports Venue. We're located at 5251 Timber Hill, Suite 104, 78238. All of our information can be found on our website, which is shenanigansgaming.com. You can find all of our social media links there, our Discord, our Twitter, our Facebook, our Instagram. And if you have any questions, you can shoot us an email through the website, or the email that you can reach us at is at info@shenanigansgaming.com. I also have my cell phone listed here. The shop's number is on our website as well. It's 210-600-3993. Yeah, should be it.
Thank you. Thank you. And again, as James alluded, we're bringing everybody together so you can just play off each other. If you need a venue, you can call Shenanigans. If you need to sponsor a program, just call all these group of people we have put together. So it's always keep it in the community, keep it connected, and keep it going. That's the main thing we need to do. So again, this is Edward Mayberry with the San Antonio Public Library and Cassie Garza.